And good morning, Minecraft. This is Mr. Kasarian, and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play series. How is everyone today? Good, I hope? Good. So now we got a couple things to get started on today. The first thing we're going to want to get is the protein liquefier. As you guys can see, I actually already started crafting this junk. Yay. Alright, so the protein liquefier is actually going to go right, let's see. Now, yeah, spacing's going to be an issue here. Okay, that's no big deal for us, though. So actually, let's hold off on that protein liquefier. The first thing I want to get ourselves is a genetic sampler, which should be around here somewhere. There we go. Genetic sampler, all right? The genetic sampler is pretty simple. All we're going to do is we're going to put a bee in, along with a couple other things, and that's going to get us some items. Now, namely, it'll get us items that allow us to encode the bee traits off the bees. So let's take a look at... Wrong thing. Is it blank? Ah, I can see it right there. Blank gene sample. Yoink. Let's just get 64. And then let's look up how many diamonds do I have left. Oh boy. So let's just get ourselves 16 of those. I'm going to need to go mining, because I burned through... That was an unbelievable amount of diamonds I just burned through, by the way. Oh, it's doing that again. Oh, for heaven's sakes. It was fine the entire time that I wasn't recording, and now it decides to chirp out. Get back here. Thunk. Alright. Now it should want to cooperate with me. I'm not certain why it's doing that, but it really is annoying. Labware. Just one, please. Because we're low on diamonds, apparently. Yeah. We'll be fixing that in a couple episodes, don't worry. So we're going to put this stuff into our genetic sampler, along with our blank gene samples. And then all we need to do is just chuck our drones in. And what's that... What that is going to give us are these gene samples that have the traits encoded on them. Temperature tolerance, none. Not exactly a sample I wanted. Now, we want to pull these out automatically, alright? Because watch, it's going to go to the end and not do anything. Okay? Now, I can either do this manually, or I can be a little bit creative about this. So let's get ourselves some... over here. Should have some item ducts laying around. Oh, perfect. 2 item ducts happens to be all that we're going to need. So let's just go like this. There and there. Alright, and now we're just going to twist this around to be an output. Alright, and now in theory, if my vanilla mechanics treat me well, if I apply a redstone signal using a lever that I don't have, how about a stick? A stick that I can auto-craft. And a piece of cobble. I should be able to turn that thing on and off. Maybe. Beautiful. Okay. So now we can see the gene samples are showing up in here. Effect none. I want to keep that. Temperature tolerance none. I don't like that. Well, I can just chuck it into my redstone furnace over here and have it automatically done. And now we have the blank gene sample showing back up in there. Awesome. Okay, so now that that's done, we can get some bee samples and bee genetics. Now what do we do with it? Well, let's take a look at this. So let's come over here and let's get ourselves a genetic transposer. Yes. Just like so. And the genetic transposer is another cool one that I really enjoy. And let's drop that down here. And the way this works is we can either put a template or a sample in here, along with some more labware, and a blank template or sample in here, and it'll copy it, which is going to be really useful later on as we get into more and more bee stuff. Alright? So now we have the transposer. Alright? We're going to need to get... Let me just make sure I'm all here. The genetic imprinter. Ooh, I'm out of bee receptacles. Produce me another. There we go. Genetic imprinter. The genetic imprinter takes the samples or the templates we've produced with some labware and applies it to a bee or a tree. Notice all of these devices also work with trees. So if we're using forestry trees, that's a pretty good way to go. Now we want, let's see, transposer, extractor, mutatron, mutagen producer. Okay. So now we need to get ourselves, we have our protein liquefier, right? Right. Let's bring that over here. And let's throw that down right like so. Okay. And then we're going to give ourselves a block space. And we're going to chuck down another redstone energy conduit right there. Awesome. So that's a space, block, space, and one more. There we go. And I know this is a pretty long line of machines, and I haven't actually started doing anything yet. Okay, so we're going to need 2 last machines for this. We're going to need the DNA extractor, and we're going to need the genetic replicator. Oh gosh, alright. I didn't realize I didn't have enough power modules. So let me craft another... Really? Which means I should also have another genetics processor. That gets me the genetic replicator. And now let me get some fluiducts. And we should be all set. Oh, right, let me get myself some beef. And we'll have to get some blank bees as well. So let's run over to here. And let's get all this connected. So, we're going to put down, first of all, liquefier space, DNA space, DNA extractor. And then we're going to put down our genetic replicator. And we're going to connect these with fluiducts. The genetic replicator is pretty cool. It takes a completely filled out template and it makes a new bee with it. Now it's going to be an ignoble bee, so it's not going to be, it won't last forever unless we do some fancy genetic modification to it. But it's another bee. No, not genetic modification. But we can do some fancy stuff to it. Now the cool thing is that I could take, say... Where on earth did I put that thing anyways? I put it downstairs, didn't I? Ugh. Gosh. I'm a derp today. Let's go down here. I think it went into this room. Yes, it did. So let's get... We have plenty of cultivators upstairs. Let's get a set of cultivated drones, shall we? And don't forget, we have plenty of bees in the imprinter that's downstairs. In the indexer that's downstairs. And that's the wrong room. So let's throw this into our DNA extractor. Thunk. Oh, we need labware. Well, I can steal some labware out of my mutatron. Alright. I don't think it requires it every time. Yeah, I don't think it does. So what this does is it's a lot like the liquefier from Extra Bees. It's going to take our bees and break them down into a base component of DNA. That DNA is then going to flow into our genetic replicator. Over here with the protein liquefier, we just have to throw some protein in, and it's going to process that down, and it's going to spit out some liquid meat. Some protein. 450 millibuckets. Now, we do not yet have the materials, I don't think, to do much. Alright, so that's my cultivated species sample. Now, what I tend to do with this is I tend to just let this thing run through a stack of bees until I get the bee stacks, the bee traits that I want to have. Okay? So it's not that complicated. It's pretty simple to run. The only thing is I'm missing the bee species that I really want right now. Okay? And then as these things pile up in here, I'm just going to take the ones that I don't want, like the duplicates especially, and I'm going to chuck them in. Now, for right now, I'm actually going to leave the duplicates in. As long as I have 2 of each, I'm pretty happy with it. So, because I want to make a template, and it's a special kind of template. And I think the main issue right now is I don't think I have... yeah, it needs a diamond per template, and I am almost out of diamonds. Alright? So, yes, that's going to be a bit complicated. But at least this thing is running. And that is a good thing. That is a very good thing indeed. Let me come back to you guys in a little bit, because I want to get a template, and I want to show you guys how this works. And it's going to take me a little bit of time to do that. And I also want to get another type of bee that I should have laying around somewhere, and I don't know where I put it. So yeah, I'll be back in just a few minutes, a couple seconds for you guys, after I do some off-camera work. Alright guys, so we are going to need a template. That's another diamond I don't have. Alright, so let's get started with this, shall we? Now, I have some Rockies that I got. Alright, now Rockies are great because they have a lot of awesome traits on them. Resistance to storms, night, flying. There's lightning outside because of my energetic bees. Don't worry about it. So, what can we do with that? Well, let's take a look. The problem is that they're not really great for running through the gene samplers, right? Because they have the lowest fertility possible. You put a drone and a queen together, you get one drone back. Kind of a balancing factor. But we need more drones than that. How are we going to get those drones? Well, it's pretty simple. I have here in my transposer an extra fertility 2 sample. Alright, so let's throw that fertility 2 back in our chest. And let's just combine it with our genetic template. Alright, and of course we get the blank gene sample back. Nice. So let's take our genetic template and throw it on the imprinter. Okay, and I'm going to need a bit of labware for this. Alright, so let's throw it on the imprinter. We have our labware, our template, and let's take a Rocky Princess. And then one of our Rocky drones. And that should process down. Takes a little bit of time and a little bit of power. Excuse me. And first of all, we get our princess. And now we're going to get our drone. And notice that the template was not used up. And we can see there's fertility too. You can also see we can specify everything to do with bees in that template. Nice. So we're going to chew that down. And we're going to get ourselves another Rocky drone. Now this drone, let's keep them separate there. That drone, as you can tell, has a different genetic template from the other drones. So what we can do is we can bring that drone over here. This one's empty. And we can throw these two together. And then I'm going to take my lifespan upgrade. And I'm going to throw that into not this one, but this one with the Rocky Queen. Alright, so that's going to seriously decrease the amount of time it takes for us to process it. And if you notice, my energetic queen, well, no flowers, because it needs a special flower. Alright, special flower. We get a stick, we get some redstone. Ah, perfect. I have a redstone torch right here. Because the flower that it needs is a redstone torch. Great. Let's plop that down there. Now if you notice, my excited, I do not actually have anything put on it yet. Alright? I don't have anything. Alright, I don't have the automation upgrade in there because I'm going to mutate that one more time into its top tier variant. Okay? It's going to take a fair bit of time though. You can see it just ticked over to 5%. However, I have my lifespan upgrades in here because I want more Rocky drones as fast as I can get them. Okay? Okay. This also gives you a good basis for breeding because these Rocky princesses and Rocky drones are pretty easy to work with. Now, you guys are probably wondering, how am I going to store all these bees? Well, that's a pretty good answer, pretty good question, to which I actually have a decent answer. Let's get ourselves an interface. Begin crafting. And if my ME system isn't derping out, hey, look, it isn't for once. Ha! That's a rarity. And then let's take a look at getting ourselves a storage bus. Alright. Now, those of you guys who know applied energistics probably know... Oh, it's done already. Probably know that this is going to be a bit hard. You're like, well, Cass, you'd have to specify every type of bee you want to go into the storage bus. Nah, we don't. Because we're going to use a fuzzy storage bus, which is just some wool. And then let's drop downstairs. And we're going to hook up this fuzzy storage bus to our indexer. There we go. And what we're going to tell that fuzzy storage bus, and I should have a bee in here, drones. You can see I have plenty of drones sitting around in this thing. All right, so let's take all of these drones out. I don't want them in there at all. I want them to have nothing to do with the rest of my network. Okay. And we're going to open up this fuzzy bus, and we're going to tell it to store bees. And we're going to tell it to match any. So now what should happen, if we look at this, it's empty, right? What should happen is if I plop my forest drone in, right, because it's detecting it's a princess. So let's also add drones to our storage list. Now if I put this back into my EmiNet, what I should see is it showed up in there. So now any bees that I drop into my network will show up in here. Beautiful. And this can hold a ridiculous number of bees. Absolutely ridiculous. Now if I come back out to here, right? I should be able to see that I already have one extra rocky drone in there. So now all that I have to do is leave this thing running for as long as possible, and we should build up a fair number of drones in there. Now, I want to do something else with that sampler, all right? I want to get some of my cultivateds. Oh, those are Valiants, Meadows, Industrious. Oh, gosh, I need cultivateds. There we go, cultivated drones. Oh, wait, hold on. Put that back in. Let's just grab these extra ones. You can see those guys are producing an absolutely unbelievable number of combs, all right? Absolutely massive number of combs. And I'm going to chuck these guys into my sampler, okay? Chunk. Because I believe... Oh, no, I already have fast species cultivated. Oh, I was already running cultivated through here. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template and I'm going to start adding to it, all right? So I don't want to add the species to it, but I want to add effect none. That seems like a good one to have. Let's go back to our imprinter. There we go. So I'm going to come up here and I want to add effect none. Boom. All right, and then I want to add, I don't want to add any of that. I don't want to add, we don't really care about flowering, so let's just add slowest as our flowering type. Yoink. And I want to have a better tolerance. Flowers isn't too bad. And we can also just add another one to this to remove it. So let's do that. And I don't know, lifespan. I'm not certain about lifespans. We'll see. Okay, cave dwelling, speed, ignore, cultivated, flyer, effect, flowering, fertility, territory. Okay, well what we'll do now is we're going to actually start like this. And we're going to start cooking these down. Okay, and this is a point where another hopper might actually come in handy, now that I think about it. That way I can kind of, you know, just dump all these into one chest and dump all these extras into a hopper and let it process. Now, just a quick note for you guys. Rotten flesh doesn't work in the protein unit, which I was kind of sad about because I'm fairly certain I have a fair number of rotten flesh hanging around. But I can just put these in. And of course, off camera, I'm going to be cleaning up the whole thing, you know, just to determine what's going where. And we're low on power again, which I'm not... Oh, because I'm running the sampler. Yes, that would be why. That would indeed be why. Fast, false, cultivated... Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is just processing down all of the bees I have, all right? Especially all these rocky bees that I'm going to be getting from my apiary over here. Okay, we can see the rockies are still going. I'm already up to 2. That's not too bad at all. Not bad at all. And actually, I know I have more rocky drones in my network. So if I pull this open, Well, I got one more rocky drone on my net. That's not too shabby. All right, we can live with that. And I'm going to be sampling these guys down just to get, you know, some information on different. I want cave dwelling, nocturnal, all of that fun stuff that will allow our bees to run essentially indefinitely without any problems. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing just for a few more minutes off camera, and I need some more labware. Huh. I could have sworn I had more labware laying around somewhere. Alright, well, that's no big deal. I must have burned through quite a bit of it processing down all these bees. So I will bring you guys back in a couple of minutes when I'm ready to show you how awesome these genetic templates can actually be. So through the magic of editing, that didn't take too long for you guys. A little bit of time for me, but not as bad as it would be with normal bees. Let me put it to you that way. So we're going to open up our Mutatron. We're going to chuck our Excited and our Valiant in there. And we're going to select an Energetic as the output. I also got some more labware and a few more diamonds. Not that many, though. So now we have an Energetic Queen, which produces combs that give us redstone. Nice. So now let's take a look at what we can do with it. Let's take a look at the imprinter. If you notice, this genetic template is completely filled out except for the precise one that is the species, which means that when we put this in and our Energetic Queen in there, the species will be the same. Okay? Now, I'm not certain if we can actually modify the Queen. I don't think we can. I think we need to let the Queen run through here. That's one downside that we've run into. So we're going to have to run the Queen through our system. But that shouldn't be too bad here. Because remember, these units over here, if we drop that one in, I can throw my lifespan upgrades in there. And the Queen should be dealt with relatively quickly. Oh gosh, lightning effects. That is actually from the Energetic Queen and nothing else. So you do want to watch out for what it's going to take. Basically, you want to be careful, all right? Bees do have negative side effects. You notice I'm getting regeneration from some. I can also get hurt by them. Now, how are we going to automate this thing? Well, what we're going to want is a router from factorization. Right, auto search isn't enabled. A router courtesy of factorization. Now, all we need is an Eye of Ender, Ender Pearl, Egg, and some Dark Iron, which we have in abundance. Now, I'm also going to want to look at some of my router upgrades. Auto Eject, Thoroughness, Speed Boost, Machine Filter, Item Filter. Machine Filter, what do you need? Oh, you need a Logic Matrix. I don't want to make that right now. I really don't want to make that right now. We could make an Auto Ejector, but I don't think it's that important, to be honest. Well, maybe. Maybe it is, actually. So let's get ourselves that piston we need. What's the rest of the recipe? Oh, right, wooden pressure plate. Just give me 64 of that, will you? I'm always waiting for it, and it's always kind of a pain in the rear end. That's not what I wanted. And let's just get that pressure plate. There we go. Auto ejector, and let's get ourselves a chest. And let's get ourselves, upgrade that into an iron chest. Oh boy, we're low on iron. Huh. Oh boy. Yeah, we need to get a new quarry set up at some point. Oh boy, I didn't realize I was that low. The router is a really cool machine. Through the magic of stuff, it basically allows us to automatically pull stuff out of our adjacent chests. So let's say we extract. Whoa, wait a second. So it's looking throughout this entire network of machines with inventories, all these machines, and it's pulling them out. So if we drop this here, we should see from the bottom, let's say. And now let's shift right click. Eject south, eject north, eject east. There we go. And notice it's dumping all of the bee products out of these apiaries and into the chests. But because of the way Gendustry industrial apiaries are designed, I don't think it's going to actually be able to pull out anything other than the bee products. And any excess drones that are produced, of course. But we'll see what it does once it starts actually hitting places where it would be... Okay, so it is pulling these out, all right? See how it pulled out the energetics? That is unfortunate, because it means we're going to have a much harder time. Yeah, okay, see, I'm willing to bet it's going to pull out everything, literally everything. Yeah, it's pulling drones out now, okay. That is unfortunate, because I had thought it would not do that. Or maybe it just did. No, it did for the energetics because there wasn't an automation upgrade in there. Okay, that is good. So it is only pulling out of this 3x3 over here, and not the primary. Okay. That's what I wanted to see. I just had to be worried for a couple seconds there. So let's run back down here, now that we have our energetics, into our genetic imprinter. Okay? And I'm going to take this one and imprint it, and that drone and imprint it. And that energetic drone is going to go into our recycling chest. There we go. So now, if we take a look at our imprinter, we should see 2 sets of drones pop out. And this is the point where I really should make a Bealizer, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, because then I can actually show you that their traits have been changed. They also don't require the torches anymore. They now require flowers. So let's let that chew through, chew through, chew through, and we should be almost done. Almost. Working on it, and done. Energetic drone. And I can notice that template didn't get used up. I could save that template. That adds all of those things to my bees. Fertility 1, temperature tolerance both 1, humidity both 1. It ignores day-night, it ignores storms, it can be covered up just fine. It needs normal flowers, slowest flower, average territory. It's great. Okay. No negative effects. That's another thing I added to it. So we should see these lightning strikes that are becoming common stop. And we can chuck it in here without the lifespan upgrade. And you can see, there we go, we now have an energetic queen. And I can actually pull these upgrades out now. See, they've been pulled out. And we can just drop our automation upgrade right back in. Beautiful. And notice, I remove the torch, and that thing stays active. Nice. Now it hasn't started yet, because I think these things have a... There we go. So you can see it is actually working. And it is doing its job. And it's working great. And I really like it. Alright? So we now basically have super bees. They're not quite super bees yet, but we're working on it. We're going to get there. Don't worry about it. It's just going to take a little bit more time, which a fair amount of that I'm going to actually be doing off camera for you guys. Because the level to which you guys probably don't want to see me doing it, I don't even want to go there. Right? Right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Kassarian, working with Gendustry. And in the next episode, we're probably going to actually start working on auto-processing for these bees, unless I stop this recording and find out that it's been, 15 minutes, which I doubt. So we're going to start auto-processing, rather than just dumping into a chest and letting the chest kind of deal with it. Alright, I put this in. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me a like, comment, subscription. Let me know what you thought about it, what you liked, what you didn't. Alright, as always guys, happy mining.